Hello, this is Paul Hoyt, CEO of Ascending Harvest, coming to you with my best buddy, business partner, resident, inventor genius here at Ascending Harvest, Shane McKenna. Today we're going to talk a little bit about the status of the business and the progress on our crowdfunding campaign, and then we're going to talk a whole lot about the role that we play in ending world hunger, which should be very exciting. I know I'm excited to talk about it. How about you, Shane?
I am excited to talk about it, and coincidentally, I just finished posting on my page, so I am good to go.
You're good to go. Hang on just a second. Say something meaningful while I post on my page. Good luck.
I like rhubarb pie.
You like rhubarb pie?
Me.
Well, okay. That's good. As it turns out, I like rhubarb pie too. And I'm guessing that anybody who's had rhubarb pie really likes rhubarb pie as long as it's got enough sugar in it.
Yes.
Because rhubarb itself is not all that tasty. Anyway, today we're going to, first of all, our crowdfunding campaign continues. We got another 2 or 3 weeks to go. We extended it 30 days, so now it ends on November the 19th. So I guess we have another 2.5 weeks or so. If you have a mind to slip us $1 or $5 or 10 or 15 or 20 or whatever, please go to ascendingharvest.com, click on the green button there, and donate a little bit to our crowdfunding campaign. We would appreciate it to kind of keep the juices flowing and keep the momentum going. We've hit about 40%, 11,500 of our original goal of 27,500, which wasn't as good as we would like for it to be, but we are extremely grateful for those who have contributed and happy to take those funds and make some extremely good use of them in moving this company forward. So thank you very much for your kind participation, both in the past and in the future. We are very excited about that.
Yeah, I agree. One of the things that has become evident and should have really been self-evident about what we're doing with a humanitarian project, because we're kind of a hybrid in so many different ways. But, you don't see humanitarian projects advertised on social media, right? So that kind of tells you that there's not really an audience on social media for humanitarian projects. But, we're stubborn and we're experimental, and we wanted to try it anyway. So, I think we did really well and are doing really well and are going to continue to do well. But it was a great way for us to fine-tune our messaging and to reach out to people and bring a lot of awareness around what we do. But it just goes to show, social media is one of those behaviors where people get on social media and they don't really like to exit it. Even if it's something they're interested in, that, they're in the mode of interacting with their friends and family, and so they're kind of on that task, even if they're just scrolling through and seeing what's going on. And it's hard for people to switch tasks. So while there's not a lot of high expectations around social media, which is why we didn't set a massively high goal, it's been a great journey and experience, and I wouldn't trade it.
Amen. I echo that completely. And we really have refined our messaging over time and really become very clear about the value propositions that we bring to the world, that we empower people anyone, anywhere to grow their own food, which is a very powerful message, that we can dramatically increase the nutrition that's received by young mothers and young children, which is another powerful one. And the one that we discovered just a couple of weeks ago is that we can probably deliver meals to people at about half the cost that they're getting them delivered today. And that's one of the things that we want to talk about today a lot, which is the role that we play in ending world hunger. So I know upon occasion that I have said, and I've heard Shane say, is that, hey, that we think we have something here that can end world hunger. And I can just see a bunch of people rolling their eyes back going, oh, man, they're dreaming again. What have they been smoking? I didn't know that stuff was legal in Utah. We knew it was legal in California. So, but anyway, you know, but we haven't been. We've really believed in this technology from the beginning of it, with a little bit of curiosity about how we could do that and what role that we could play in ending world hunger. Let's talk about that whole concept of ending world hunger. In 2015, the United Nations actually developed the goal of ending world hunger by 2030. 2030 is only like 11 years away, 12 years away. It's not very long away at all. And there are literally hundreds of organizations, you know, both government entities and non-government organizations, just really focused on doing their part to help that goal be realized. And I've had the opportunity to talk to a lot of them over the course of the last 3 or 4 days as we've begun the next level in our business, which is outreach to other organizations that are providing aid to Africa and who are feeding people all around the world. I guess I've talked to a couple of dozen of them here in the last few days. And as a result of those conversations, I've really become very clear on the role that Ascending Harvest plays in ending world hunger. And I'm going to show you a crude little diagram that I have put together. And we are going to create a much better one, so I apologize for the crudeness of this. But on a scale of 1 to 10, I am a good solid 4 when it comes to graphic art. And so here's my attempt to explain the role that we play at Ascending Harvest in ending world hunger. And I'm going to invite Shane to talk a lot about this, so I'm just going to introduce it for just a few minutes more. And that is that non-government organizations take aid money from government organizations and donation money from fine folks like you and me, purchase products typically from large commercial farms, and give it to families in need. And they give it to families in need at a cost of about 31 cents a meal. They also support the family farms and help a lot of people who have their own plot of land that they're trying to farm in these developing countries to be better farmers, so that they can both feed the family that owns the farm and provides the labor for the farm, and they can have a little bit of surplus to sell at a local market, which is sold to the families in need, not given to the families in need. Kind of lost in this whole scenario of how we generate food for families is the community garden and the family garden. As you can see by the, by the call out there, that's where we fit. That's the role that we fit, is that we enable the family garden. The family garden has a significant cost advantage over family farms and large commercial farms, because there is zero cost of labor and zero packaging cost and zero distribution cost. You just walk out and get the melon, or you pluck the tomato, and you're able to enjoy that and add to the nutrition of your family. You get 4 or 5 of our systems in place, each one of those systems growing multiple compatible plants, and you're able to do a lot when it comes to feeding your family. So that's the role that we play. And by the way, it's a role that not very many other organizations are playing at all. Most of them, most of the large non-government organizations that I've talked to, are really supporting the large commercial farms and the family farms. Very few of them are supporting the community gardens and the family gardens. But Shane, with his genius, with his gift that he has, with his dozens of years of experience in farming, has invented this incredible system we call Human-Powered Hydroponic Gardens that enables the family farm for any family anywhere, whether they're in a developing country or a slum or a refugee camp. It just doesn't make any difference. With this technology, they can grow their own food, and we are, as you can see, very, very excited about that.
Yeah, so one of the points that you brought up is that there's not very many organizations that are supporting the family farm. And the reason that there's not is, if you're going to send somebody to do educational work, if you're going to send somebody to help to develop economies of scale in somebody's farming methodology, number one, you're going to be promoting equipment. And that equipment, it doesn't make sense to distribute equipment down to the family farm, because a plow or technology that's meant to farm 100 acres is not useful for a family farm. That simply doesn't translate. There's no value proposition in that.
Yeah.
Likewise, on the education front, the value proposition of teaching somebody how to grow a monocrop and increase the production of that monocrop and many acres of that monocrop that you have to get to scale so that it works within the economy of that monocrop. You can't scale that to the family farm. You can't teach somebody something that's as economically viable as growing 100 acres of corn and then take that down to the family farm where they have a half an acre and use those same principles, same equipment. It just doesn't translate. And so the best bang for the buck for these organizations is the large commercial farms and the family farms. When they start to try and distribute equipment, technology, information down to the family farms, that information is less and less applicable to that environment and that economy of scale.
Yeah.
So what we've done, what makes us different and why there's an opportunity now to service the family farm is we have a technology that's economically viable all the way down to the individual, that individual mother. And so we have an opportunity to service that need now.
Yeah, I think a couple of times there you meant to say family garden instead of family farm.
Okay, family garden. Sorry.
Yeah, so we have come across some NGOs, and NGO stands for non-government organization. It essentially means a nonprofit, or it could be a for-profit with a heavy humanitarian or social enterprise outlook to it that qualifies as an NGO. They typically focus primarily on large-scale commercial farms and buying crops from other farmers and supporting large commercial farms in country, like in Kenya or Uganda or Ghana. Then some of them are helping with the family farms, helping families be more effective in the farms that they have, but very few of them are going out to the community gardens or to the family gardens, which is the place that we play in the marketplace. Given sufficient systems, just imagine, put your imaginary hat on, with me for a minute. If we had 1 billion of our systems in play around the world, each one of them producing, pounds of produce every single day, we could really minimize the burden or dramatically reduce the burden that is of feeding people that is coming from those large commercial farms today, and even the family farms too. So, that's our focus.
I'd like to share a little bit of data here. The entire humanitarian effort, there's an organization, I can't remember the name of it, but they track the humanitarian effort globally. And the entire global humanitarian effort is $27.3 billion. And if you look at, if every single one of those dollars was spent on those 31-cent individual rations, what they call a ration, the average cost of that ration is 31 cents. If you look at the amount of money that's going into humanitarian aid, and then you look at the cost of rations, you can deliver enough rations to feed about 250 million people. Now that's a little less than a quarter of the people that are actually in hunger and poverty. So that means that 3/4 of that community are being underserved at best. So what we have is we have the ability to come in, and we have the ability to potentially get to half that cost of 15% or 15 cents per ration. So now you're looking at, with our technology, if you spent the same amount of money, you're feeding twice as many people. So I think there's a very compelling argument of, at the very minimum, starting to implement our technology into these communities to bolster that food production in community, to create these family gardens so that you avoid that transportation, you avoid the packaging, you avoid the waste, you don't have the labor cost, you reduce all of those costs because the property and the water and everything that they're using to support our systems is really incidental. It doesn't require infrastructure increase because they're human powered. It doesn't require land increase. It's really incidental to their living environment and can be implemented almost anywhere. And so we have an opportunity to truly impact hunger, both in cost effectiveness of treating that condition, but also in the practical conditions of treating that.
Well said. Very well said. And I want to echo what you just said about, answering the question about, well, how come more people don't have family gardens today? Here in the United States where we live, it's just not necessary. People have a garden in the United States not because they need it to grow their own food and feed their families. They do it because they enjoy gardening. It is very empowering, and it's a very creative, fulfilling process to have your own garden and grow your own beans and grow your own radishes and carrots. And I had gardens for years ago, and I really enjoyed that whole process. But over where they really do need the family farm, or family garden rather, they don't have the expertise, they don't have the soil, they just don't know how to do it. And with our systems, with our human-powered hydroponic gardens, we eliminate the need for experience, soil, electricity, any of that stuff. We supply to them a very effective, very efficient hydroponic system that doesn't require any electricity or any experience at all. And that's why we're going to be successful in helping, we hope, millions of families around the world have their very own family garden.
Yep, absolutely. And the other point is that the farming initiatives that are in place, most of them are not profitable and have to have continued outside support to pay for the equipment and the supplies and the labor that's required to run those farms. And that's a factor that people don't realize, is that these farms, that the reason that there is aid money going into them is because aid money is required to sustain them. Our technology will actually pay for itself in the local economy. People who create family gardens and say, hey, this is the thing for me, this is how I want to increase my capacity to create value in the community and bring abundance into my household, those people that resonate with that, they could actually choose to expand their operation and know that they can pay for that expansion with the production out of those systems. So we have an extremely unique offering, extremely unique and decidedly strategic value points that we have aimed for in the development of this business and this technology.
Well said. So that's the role that we can play in ending world hunger. And that role is, delivering systems that enable anyone, anywhere to have their own garden, for families to have that family garden and really fill that niche in the worldwide food supply, which we are extremely, extremely excited about it. And here is your opportunity to have a role that you can play too, and that is to contribute to Ascending Harvest, to go to ascendingharvest.com, click on the green button, pass us $1 or $2, pack us 10, 20, 50, $100, whatever you can afford to really move this project forward. We would greatly appreciate it. All the people who contribute to our product, who become friends of our company in some way, we're going to have a lot of opportunities for you to play with us in other ways, in the coming weeks and coming months. So please stay tuned and make sure that you get on our contact list, because we've got some exciting things that we're going to be sharing with you in just the next few weeks or so. But I know I speak for Shane. I'm going to let him say it for himself here. But I'm really excited. The more I get involved with this company, the more I understand, how the world is rallying to fulfill the goal that the United Nations put forth just a couple of years ago to end world hunger by 2030. The way I understand the role that we can play at Ascending Harvest, I get very, very excited about that. It seems very meaningful. It seems very worthwhile. It seems like a fantastic opportunity for us to do something, for ourselves, for our own families, but more importantly for the world, for generations to come. And that's pretty meaningful.
Yeah, the real truth here is once you establish that seed of empowerment within a community, that empowerment grows and grows and grows. And the way we end world hunger is we empower individuals to take care of themselves. And right now people are disempowered, and for so many reasons, too many to really get into at the end of our program here. But we need to change, we need to shift that. We need to go from people who are disempowered to giving them empowering tools, and ours is just one of those, but it's a fundamental empowering tool that gives them that full belly, that nutrient complement that feeds their body, their immune system, and their mind, most importantly, their mind, so that they could think through the rest of the solutions that they need to discover and implement to lift themselves out of poverty. Without that nutrition, without that brain function, it's crippling. It's absolutely crippling. Coming to solution is extremely difficult when you don't have the nutrition to turn on your cognitive function. So there's so many layers to what we're doing, and there's so many, it's been so well developed in the business and the distribution model. And as we talk to people who are serving in these areas, they're really astounded of this new technology that's coming on and the way that we've planned on both how it works and how the distribution model works and the role that they can play in implementing our technology, because it is so simple to set up and use. I could just say every single person in this space that I have personally talked to has been less about, well, what are the potential problems, and more about how soon can we start delivering these.
Yeah. Shane and I spent a little time on the phone this morning talking about how simple these systems are to manufacture and to set up and to use. And we would like to give one of you people out there the opportunity to see that for yourself. So, so every time we do one of these Zoom casts, we do a prize drawing, and we give away a Human-Powered Hydroponic Garden to some lucky person who has either given us their email address at ascendingharvest.com or contributed to our crowdfunding campaign on Indiegogo, or by clicking the green button that's on our homepage at ascendingharvest.com. And the way we do that is I pull off all those names and I randomize them, and we get ourselves a random number between 1 and 10,000 that Shane provides, and I plug it into my spreadsheet and we get a winner. Shane, what's the magic number for today?
Oh, it's a low one today. 213, 213.
213, and the winner for today is a good friend of mine and somebody I've worked with for a number of years, Randy Pizer. Randy Pizer is the CEO and the founder of Author One Stop. She is really gifted when it comes to helping people become an author, and gave me some support on the first couple of books that I wrote. So I really appreciate Randy and her expertise. And Randy, you are the winner of a Human-Powered Hydroponic Garden today. We will ship one to you when we get these out into mass production or out of mass production, which we hope will be in about 6 months or so, or you can donate one to a family in need at that time in your name. Congratulations, Randy. If you would like to be eligible for a prize drawing and would like to hear more news about Ascending Harvest and the great strides that we are making, please go to ascendingharvest.com and sign up, or click on the button there and give us a $1 or $5 or $10 or whatever you can afford in our Indiegogo crowdfunding campaign that lasts for another couple of weeks. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Thanks for helping us or giving us the opportunity to share more information on ascending harvest and the role that we can play in ending world hunger and coming onto our team and helping us play that role. Shane, I'm going to let you say goodbye and take us out for today.
Thank you very much, everybody. We really appreciate you. Thank you for all the support and all of the shares and the funding that you have donated to help Ascending Harvest come into being. We really appreciate you. Thank you again. Have an awesome November.
See you. Bye-bye.